My 12-year-old son started a business at school, and now he makes more money than me. It started on a Tuesday when I got a call from the principal. Mr. Hayes, we need to discuss your son Marcus's extracurricular activities. I figured he threw a dodgeball at someone's face again. I said I'd be there in 20. I walked into the office, and Marcus was sitting there with his arms crossed and the most relaxed expression I've ever seen on a child. The principal slid a Ziploc bag across the desk. Inside was $340 in cash, all 5s and 10s. This was in your son's backpack. I looked at Marcus. He shrugged. It's been a good week. I asked the principal what was going on. She said Marcus had been running a service-based enterprise out of the cafeteria for the past 3 weeks. I asked what that meant in English. She took a deep breath and said, your son has been charging students $5 to write their apology letters to their parents. I'm sorry, what? She pulled out a folder. Inside were samples, handwritten letters, different handwriting for each one. This boy had been forging other kids' penmanship so the parents wouldn't suspect. One letter said, Dear Mom, I know my math grade disappointed you, but I want you to know that I've been doing a lot of thinking, and I realize that effort matters more than results. I'm going to do better, not because you asked me to, but because I owe it to myself. A 12-year-old wrote that. For a kid named Tyler who got a D in science. The principal said the basic package was $5. Clean apology, regret, promise to improve, standard stuff. But Marcus had tiers. $10 got what he called the emotional deluxe, which included phrases like, I couldn't sleep last night thinking about how I let you down. $15 unlocked the full breakdown, which was 2 pages, specific detail about the kid's life, and at least one line that would make the parent cry. There was a $20 option called, I found God. I didn't ask. I looked at Marcus and said, where did you learn to write like this? He said, Dad, I've been listening to you apologize to Mom for 12 years. I took notes. The principal was trying not to laugh. I was trying not to be proud. I was failing at both. I asked how many clients he had. She said at least 30. Marcus corrected her. 37 active, 12 on a wait list. He had a wait list. My son had a wait list for apology letters, and I can barely get my emails answered. She said it got worse. He'd hired his best friend Devin as head of marketing. Devin had been handing out business cards in the cafeteria. Business cards. They said, in trouble? We write, you survive. M&D Apology Company, with a QR code that linked to a Google form. I asked where he got business cards printed. He said, the library printer. Before school. Mrs. Patterson doesn't ask questions. The principal said 3 parents had called the school that month to thank them because their children had written the most heartfelt, mature apologies they'd ever received. One mother said the letter made her reconsider putting her son in military school. That letter cost $15. I took Marcus home and told him we needed to have a serious talk. He sat on the couch with his hands folded like a CEO waiting for a board meeting. I said, son, you can't run a business at school. He said, why not? The school sells overpriced cookies every Friday. That's a business. I said, that's different. That's a fundraiser. He said, their cookies are $3 and taste like cardboard. I'm offering a premium product at a fair price. My customer satisfaction is 100%. Can their cookies say that? I didn't have an answer. My 12-year-old just out-debated me using market logic. I told him I was taking the $340. He got quiet. Then he reached under the couch cushion and pulled out a second Ziploc bag with another $200 in it. He had an emergency fund. This kid had stashed a backup fund in my own living room. My wife came home and I told her everything. She listened, looked at the sample letters and said, these are really good. Then she looked at Marcus and said, what's the I found God package? He said, that's the one where the kid admits they've been praying about their behavior and asked the parent to attend church with them as a family healing exercise. Nobody's bought it yet, but it's there for Q4. He said, Q4. My son said Q4 to his mother. I grounded him for a week. The next morning, I found a handwritten letter slid under my bedroom door. It said, Dear Dad, I understand why you made the decision you made. It wasn't easy, and I respect your authority in this household, but I want you to know that entrepreneurship is in my blood, and rather than discouraging it, I hope we can find a way to channel it productively. I love you, and I'm sorry for any stress I caused. Your son, Marcus. It was beautiful. Gut-wrenching. My wife read it and said, that's the most thoughtful thing anyone in this family has ever written. I almost caved. Then I flipped it over. On the back, in tiny letters, it said, this would have been the $15 package. The kid was upselling me. I tried to stay mad. I really did. But the following week, his teacher emailed me saying Marcus had started a new approved business. He was now charging kids $2 to proofread their homework before submission. The school said it was technically tutoring, so they allowed it. Last month, he deposited $700 into a savings account he opened with his mom. He asked me what the interest rate was and said, that's disappointing. He makes more per month than I did at my first job. Last week, he looked at me over breakfast and said, Dad, when I turn 14, I'm going to need you to co-sign on something. I said, absolutely not. He said, that's okay. I'll ask Mom. He already knows the power structure in this house. My name is on the mortgage, but I'm pretty sure he's going to own this house before I pay it off.